Well, hello there. Hello and welcome to sim.bc, where right now is right about 16:56 in the afternoon/evening. I don't even know. I gotta find a way of actually determining what it is when it is between 3 o'clock, yeah, and 5. Is it like post-afternoon? Is it pre-evening? Yeah, pre-evening. Is it something along those lines? Because some people say that after 12 is the afternoon, yeah? But is it the afternoon until 3? And if so, what is between 3 and 5/6 when it's actually the evening? So we're saying pre-evening, inspired by the Big Bang Theory. Yeah, I'm watching way too much of that series. It's just a personal curse, mate. But today, mates, is something quite extraordinary. Not only that I've been sitting in school for, well, the latest 6 hours, not only that it's starting thawing outside, so there's a lot of slush on every street corner that I have to walk through in order to go back and forth to school. Not only that I've actually been working effectively in school, actually writing stuff for the thesis that I'm actually going to hand in a couple of months, and done some, real progress. No, not only that, but it is week number 10 of what? Of what, you might say, yeah? I can't hear you. Well, of course, it's week 10 of Saturday News Recap. Saturday News Recap. The one place on the internet, yeah? On the entire internet, on the interwebs, where you can get your news from moi. From me. And we're not only going to talk business news today. No. We're going to start off with talking about some international news. Sure off. 2 international news pieces, actually. One with some social implication and one that's just flat out boring. It's depressing in a way, but it is something that we need to cover nonetheless. And then we're going to get into the fun stuff, which is channel stuff. So news regarding this channel right here. It kind of have something to do with this. But more on that later. So let's get started. And as you probably can see, I'm using my phone because, well, this is kind of a new setup. As I said, we're going to talk about that later. Just shh. We're going there. Shh. We're getting there. So, Pharma Bro Martin Shekril, and sorry for if I'm just slaughtering your name there, but you probably have bigger words than that. No, I don't want to toss shade, but let's get real here. Has been sentenced to 7 years in prison. His prosecutor wanted to give him 15 and his lawyer wanted to give him 15 months. But what has he done? Well, as far as I've understood, or rather the closest that I can get to what he's actually done, is kind of a Ponzi scheme. So he's been dipping his hands, into some pockets, into some hedge funds, and just retrieved millions and billions of dollars, or at least, not billions, sorry, millions and millions of dollars, or at least that is as far as I have understood it. Let's see if we can get the exact wording of where he got it from. So, just a quote here from a news piece. In December of 2015, he was charged with securities fraud charges and looting millions of dollars from 2 hedge funds he operated, MSMB Capital and MSMB Healthcare. Now, is this a good thing? Of course it's not. It's bad. You don't do that. You don't steal from other people. It's not a good thing. But this happened nonetheless. And as I said, we're going to talk about another news piece that has some social implication, but so does this one actually, because people are calling out that this is the most hated man in America ever, because he's taking from healthcare. And that is the big issue here, that people have actually been spending them hard-earned cash, and especially since from the latest election it was kind of a big deal with the healthcare and all of that, the Obamacare, in contrast with the Trump views and so on and so forth. Not meant to make this a political video, but it is a big matter of contempt. So many people have been tossing that shade from the sun and been saying, well, that's kind of bad, mate, shouldn't do that. And some people argue that he's getting getting a way too low of a sentence to what he actually, well, should have gotten. But it is just one way of saying that, well, there are CEOs out there, there are founders out there who are good, but it needs to be kept in mind that there are some that are not as good. But moving on to the next piece of information, the next piece of news here, something that I think is really interesting, something that I not generally indulge in when it comes to this channel. No. We're going to talk about gaming, and especially we're going to talk about Fortnite, one of the new games that, Fortnite, it's like a battle royale game. For those of you who don't know, some people say it's a ripoff of PUBG, some people say that PUBG is a ripoff of Fortnite Online. There's a big, conspiracy around that. There's a big, controversy and a big matter of contempt between these two player bases. So just Google that, you will get all the information that you need. But to wrap it up quite quickly, there are two big games. They're both focusing on the same kind of game style, and it's Fortnite and it's PUBG, and both are battle royale games. One of them is free to play, the other one is buy to play, as I've understood it. And one of these games are coming to mobile phones, coming to a phone near you. Wow, that was supposed to be such a nice slogan and I messed it up. Coming to a phone near you. Yeah, that's how it was supposed to be delivered. And this is a Fortnite. Now, this wouldn't be as much of a news piece that I would like to cover if that was only it. But of course it isn't. No. We're not stopping there. We're not stopping with the phones, because every goddamn time something interesting comes out to phones, something develops within gaming, something that has to do with shooting, something that has to do with guns, of course there's going to be a backlash. So, as I was walking out of my apartment this very morning, I was just looking through my feed on Facebook, and lo and behold, there was a news piece, a link to a news piece made by a Swedish news agency talking about, or rather interviewing a mom, about that, Fortnite is coming to phones. And it's destroying her son's life. And I can argue, or I can be honest, that I haven't actually quite thought through this process of how I'm going to present my opinion and my view on this. So just bear with me if I'm stepping on your toes and if I am a bit clunky with my formulation. But the entire argument here is that this game is implementing or influencing and impacting this kid in a very bad way. So the mom is kind of bloody mad. And I get that. I can get behind that. Sure, you want the best for your kid. I can support that, but simultaneously, if your kid is someone who is so easily impressionable so that they actually take after a video game by doing something bad because they've done something bad in the video game, maybe it isn't the video game's fault, maybe it is your kid's fault. Now, you're just raising the opinion, right? Not saying that I'm right, not saying that you're wrong. I'm just raising the opinion that it might be that way, right? That perspective. Simultaneously, right? If this kid is easily impressionable, maybe it isn't this particular game that is the problem here. Maybe it is that he's easily impressionable. Yeah, see what I'm saying here? It might not necessarily be Fortnite that is the big bad in this context. It could be other factors as well. But this mom was getting out there saying that I want this game banned. How can they release it on phones? It's crazy, it's mad, it's ludicrous. Whereas other people that are fans of the games are saying the same things, but for very different reasons, and that is because it's going to be cross-platforms between, or as far as we know right now, between phones and computers and, PS4s and Xbox Ones and all of that. And people are, fans of the game are kind of like, well, isn't it a big advantage if you play on a computer instead of a, phone? I can tend to agree. But back to the news piece, there was that the mom had a social, and this is the social implication part, that the game is coming out, someone is blaming it, other people are joining the bandwagon and saying that, yeah, this game is bad, whilst not actually checking the facts of what is it that makes this game so bad. It's a successful game that many people enjoy, just like PUBG. You're just gonna need to throw it out there, yeah? If someone watches this and is a huge PUBG fan, you kind of need to say that they're both equally good, they both have their merits. Now I probably pissed off two sides of the people and nobody's going to take my side. Anyway, the idea here is that this mom was coming in saying that, we need to ban this game. I would argue no. Absolutely bloody not. Why would we need to do that? Because your kid is easily impressionable. And maybe if this kid, who was 12 by the way, just for reference, frame of reference, what is happening when you're 12? Has been a good kid, has been a nice kid up until now. About to turn 13, something happens in the body. Yeah. It's the entire, process of getting matured, puberty, getting to be an adult. What is happening then? Well, lots of hormones are changing, lots of behaviors are changing naturally. So, naturally, his behavior is going to change. How can you connect that to actually the video game? It could be so many other things that is actually playing a role there. So just think for 1 second before you just blame it outright, as it seemed to be in this article. Now, I would just like to add in the end here that this mom might have actually done their research, been doing their research real good, and the newspaper didn't show that part of the story. That can be absolutely true, so keep that in mind if you come across it and if you read it. However, that was everything for that part. Now we're going into the more interesting part of the news, my side of the news. Some internal things that has happened with the channel and what has been happening. Well, we're talking about the DSLR. Ladies and gentlemen, I want an applaud, An applaud for the DSLR. Finally, we're working in that HD quality. Finally, the corny picture is gone. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because I'm testing out a new setting on the camera. Because it took like, what, 60 minutes or something along those lines to actually render the video yesterday. So I was like, why is that? Wonder what that is it. So I changed the video settings to 30 FPS now instead of 60 FPS on the DSLR. So hopefully it's going to be a bit quicker. But I thought it was nice to actually introduce the DSLR as of week 10. It was such a nice coincidence that it just happened to coincide with the 10th video of SNR. It's the 10th week of the year. And not only that, this project has actually been working for 10 consecutive weeks. It's something that I rather enjoyed, something that I'm rather proud of, that I actually had an incentive to look through the news each and every day to actually see if, well, is there anything interesting out there? Is there anything interesting happening in the world? Why? Why not? How come? How can not come? Why? Why not? All of these things raising different perspectives and actually helping me in the different projects that I'm talking about throughout the weekdays. It's a rather enjoyable process and I like it. And we've been hitting them 10 videos weeks. Just gonna check in my notes here if there is a bit of news that I have missed, because I had quite a few about today's video, and that is, well, the hype of the DSLR. Covered that. The first SNR with the DSLR, covered that. Seems like the DSLR here is to stay. Yes, that is as well. As I was mentioning like Sunday last week, this was just a test thing, right, with the DSLR, but it actually looks as if it is here to stay for good, depending on if this actually helps with the rendering thing, because otherwise there might be days, when I'm not actually using the DSLR based on that I'm in kind of a time restraint. As of yesterday, I had about 2 hours to record, edit, upload, render, all of that good stuff, and, well, I took 3. I actually had to wait up my mate and tell them to, you know what, I actually can't come. Why? Well, because, there's nothing I can do about the rendering thing. So hopefully it's going to stay. Hopefully it's all going to work fine. Hopefully it's all going to work good. And hopefully, I know I've been saying that quite a lot of time. Hopefully this is going to reduce the render time as well. See if there's anything else in the agenda. 25 FPS instead of, to see if the rendering gets lower than 60 minutes. And well, that's that. So hopefully this was informational. Hopefully this was a bit inspiring. Hopefully you've had a good time. Hopefully I've been, filling 10 minutes of your day, 10 to 15 minutes of your day, with some interesting stuff. So just gonna end with saying DSLR, hopefully. Now, I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but hopefully this is going to continue, and hopefully this project is going to continue, and hopefully it's going to continue to bear fruit. So, have a nice one, mates. That was everything from me today. I'll see you tomorrow with the What is Evil project. Have a nice one. Woo!